I feel like I've always had a very strong sense of what I like and what I don't like and what I'm willing to do and not do. You know what I mean? Just kind of, I think I've been very fortunate in that. And I think a lot of that comes from being an independent artist. You get to call a lot of your own shots. So I'm Andrea Vasquez. I am a Latin country singer. I am originally from Los Angeles, but I'm based here in Nashville, and I've been here for almost 7 years. Country music is growing more and more popular with, all sorts of genres and all people, which is kind of really cool. And then you've got the Latin culture and country music trying to fuse together right now. So it's a very interesting time to kind of be in this. And I'm just really excited for all of it. It's like super cliche. Everybody's always like, I've always wanted to do this, but I really did always want to do this. So I come from a pretty musical background. My cousins and family all in LA are very musical, whether it's they're in a band or they're solo artists or they're in lighting, engineering, producing. So we always kind of collaborated as teenagers, I would say, on projects, which is really, really cool. We always knew somebody who could do film or this or, just put projects together. So our parents just always knew that that's what we were doing. That was just like our thing. We didn't have to really explain it to anybody. It wasn't ever, we were very fortunate in that sense. But I would say professionally, since I was like 16, 17, really recording music and going to auditions and just doing, the whole LA thing, especially just like auditioning for everything and just trying to get in every room. And it's been really fun. It's been a long road. As kids, later in life, we lived in Virginia, and I feel like that's where I was a little bit more exposed to country music. We came back to California and when I was in high school, and country was very popular, especially in like San Diego and all of that. I don't know, I just always was very drawn to the storytelling aspect of it all. The fact that when you compare all the genres, it still has most of the authentic instruments in it. There's a real live band usually tracking with you. I don't know, something about it just has always spoken to me, and I think that, I'm like a early 90s baby, so I grew up with all the most incredible like powerhouse females around me, and I got to just kind of watch. I don't know, something about country music it just speaks to you different. I just think it's just so cool and it's so fun, and it's been interesting to see the genre change throughout the last couple decades too. I feel like I've always had a very strong sense of what I like and what I don't like and what I'm willing to do and not do. You know what I mean? Just kind of, I think I've been very fortunate in that. And I think a lot of that comes from being an independent artist. You get to call a lot of your own shots. It's funny because my music's obviously evolved as I've gotten older. It's just matured with me, but it still sounds like me at the same time. I'm someone who also listens to all sorts of every single genre of music. So I take a lot of inspiration from little things from there, and that just kind of helps me with my sound. And I feel like the last year I don't know how this even came up. I was just kind of talking to friends, and it was like country with a little tahini. Tahini's a little Mexican spice. And I was like, that's it. That is seriously my brand. It's like country, but with a little bit of oomph in it. That's an easy one. It was definitely the album that I just put out in September. It's called The Bed You Made. So The Bed You Made is, if you listen to that project from start to finish, it tells a full story. It's based off of true experiences. It's just a heavy breakup that I went through, and it kind of tells you the scene. It's like we go through like angry phase, the sad phase, the like I'm gonna be okay phase, all of it, and it just kind of leaves on like a positive note too for everything that I'm kind of releasing now. Just the whole process of it. I wrote a lot of it with that was just kind of the most defining moment that I've had so far here in Nashville. I was able to kind of release that on my own. When I say on my own, I mean I am an independent artist, me and my small team, who of course built that. I mean, it was just awesome, and we got to do a really fun showcase behind it. I mean, it's just been a blast, but these were singles that a lot of those had been came out of 2020, just releasing music. So all of that, I was like, I want it to be on the album, and it needs to tell a full story. I feel like you just kind of feel it in your gut, like when you go to a write or something and you're like, I think over the last couple of years, I've really solidified who I like to co-write with and who I like to collaborate here in town, which has been awesome. So there's just that level of comfort where you can just go in and just be very politely honest, being like, I'm not feeling that, I'm feeling that. But you know who you're going to get a certain sound with, depending on who you're collaborating with. And Moving Target is a great example of that. That was my first single since this album release. I mean, the moment that we wrote that, I was like, I have to cut that. Like, we are releasing this. And then that just kind of opened the door to this whole new style of music that, I wouldn't say new style, but just new music that I'm going to be putting out that I'm very excited about. Yeah, so I wrote that with two really great friends of mine, and they're two of my favorite writers in the town, Eitan Snyder and Bailey Morgan. They're insanely talented, especially when it comes to lyrics and hooks. So great. I think that was our first co-write all together, which was awesome. The rest was history from there because I'm cutting a couple things that we all three wrote this year. But with Moving Target, we had this idea of like, when you find love and you're kind of scared because we all are guarded at some point. And so it's like a girl who wants to get close but not too close. And then we're like, let's write it in the third story. So telling a story was just a very different perspective and just something I hadn't done before, where we're speaking of the third story. I mean, I just love that song so much. And then Jessica Emerson, she's been doing my content for a very long time. We had such a blast doing the music video. That will be coming out pretty soon too. So very excited about that. When you see the photos from Moving Target 2, I know like the furry coat, everything looked really cool, but it was like 20 degrees outside when we shot that. It was looking miserable. I was like, are we done yet? But no, I mean, the whole project was just really awesome. So I'm excited for everybody to keep connecting with the song too. Shania is making a comeback these days, you know, like she's very active right now. So that would be like a bucket list. But you know, Carrie and Miranda wanted to do a little something. I'd be flattered. They're so iconic, and I feel like that's the era of country that I just love so much. It was just like, what do you want to call it? Like early 2000s to mid like 2010 or something like that. Like, oh gosh, it was so good. I feel like as you get older too, you just realize like it's just the act of like performing that just kind of like gives you that like adrenaline rush, and you're just so happy. Like that's what makes me so happy. And I just love connecting with new fans and just meeting people. And it's really fun when people are like truly vibing with your music and you could just tell. It's just a blast. And that's where I'm like, gonna have a stressful day, but then I'm on stage and it just like, you forget all about that. And that's when you're like, this is what I'm seriously supposed to be doing. I feel like here in Nashville too, we have so many venues. I played the Listening Room quite a good bit. I actually have a show there Saturday. But the Listening Room is a great venue for anybody who's familiar with Nashville and how important songwriting is, where you go and you get to play a writer's round. Everybody who's there is there to literally just focus on the artist, the songwriter, the music. There may be eating, but you have to be very quiet and respectful, and that's just kind of cool because, you know, you really hear live music at a lot of places, but you hear like side conversations going on, and when we're there, it's just, yeah, like they're really here to hear your song. So it is cool, and it's sometimes a good opportunity to like, if I'm debating a new song that I'm not sure about, I'll kind of just whip it out there and just see what the crowd reaction is. It depends. If it's like with my band, I really love playing Never Into Me because I just think that one's really fun. We'll do like a little jam session in the bridge too, or usually have a lot of fun with that one. People really like that at live shows. And lately, Moving Target has been a favorite of mine to play acoustic. Yeah, so my friend Jessica Emerson and I, she's one of the first people that I ever worked with for any visuals here in Nashville, and I don't know how to describe our process. We do always have like a plan, but not a big plan, and we just kind of wing it, and I just knew that this video was just so pretty, and it's more of like a visualizer where like, I just wanted to like, us out in the field, like we're just telling the story. I'm gonna leave it at that, but it just is very visually very pretty, and I think that the song is very much that too. So I think that people will enjoy it. Yeah, so of course CMA Fest is around the corner, so I will be participating at a couple other little showcases around that time, so that'll be really fun. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's almost June, this is crazy to kind of wrap my head around that, but I'm gonna be really singing tons more music. We actually are hitting the studio in like 2 weeks, so a lot of new music on the way, and maybe there's some Spanish in there, so some Latin country, so that's gonna be really cool. Anybody watching, again, I'm Andrea Vasquez. You can find me at my socials at Andrea Vasquez. You'll be able to find my website and TikTok, all the things. And I really hope that you love my new single, Moving Target. Add it to your playlist, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for the video.